Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video I'm going to go through my watch list for game week 25. It's a double game week, it's a blank game week as well. We're going to look at some of those players that make our watch list and look at some of the transfers I'm potentially going to make in this crucial defining period where we have double game weeks and blank weeks coming up. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, make sure you hit that like and make sure you subscribe. In the meantime, let's jump into it. Before we look at my transfer plans for game week 25, let's have a quick recap of where we are right now. Game week 24 was a small red arrow. Seems like an age away it took place. Rashford came out really good. Odegaard, excellent that he got some points. De Bruyne, Trippier, White, all conceded. Shaw got in there with a clean sheet and Kane got an assist. So all in all, a few issues in terms of Akanji and Cucurella not playing. So, I don't know, slightly disappointed to receive any sort of red arrow. Of course, it could and was looking a little bit worse. Captaincy didn't really work out, but it was at Haaland away at Forest. Could have been much different. I don't think at any point I was ever considering anyone else in a single game week other than Haaland, so I can't really beat myself up about that. So, moving forward then, looking at game week 25, this is always one game week on the horizon, as there are with a few others, that I'm just keeping, well, been planning for a long time because I know that Newcastle and Manchester United are playing in the EFL Cup final. So we have quite a few teams out. And at one time, I had lots of Almiron and Weghorst in there as a punt, Martial. So I've slowly drip fed them out, hopefully leaving myself with 11 players. However, there are one or two pieces of surgery that I could do with my side. I've left myself 2 free transfers and I do have 0.2 in the bank. Ever since we've started planning for this, it has panned out that there's been a few other double game weeks thrown in there too. And more recently, we know about the double game weeks coming up in 29. We have the blank game week 28 too. So there's lots of things to consider when I'm looking at bringing them in. For the time being, I think I'm just going to take quite a short-term view on this. And I've got to get 11 players out, I feel, for game week 25. But I want to do it to such a detriment for the future. But I do have to live with the here and now and improve my rank. Cucurella is an issue. He's not played the last couple of games, came off the bench, I think. Away at Tottenham, not a great fixture anyway, and now I'm doubling up on that, him and Kepa, so I'm not particularly comfortable with that. Akanji, again, he seems to, I wouldn't say fallen out of favour, played in the Champions League, but he's come off, or come on at half-time in the last couple of matches. That's not what I want as an FPL asset. Somerville's back in, Andreas looks good. The rest of the side looks pretty good, and Nketiah looks like he'll get 2 games because Jesus not in the squad yet, so you'd imagine even when he is fully fit, he's going to be sort of weaned back into the side. So there are 1 or 2 issues that I'm worried about, particularly Akanji and Cucurella. The rest, I think I'm all right. There is a flag on KDB at the moment, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. But my plans may involve moving him and releasing some of that money that he holds up in any case. I do have to have a mind on game week 28, really, because there's a number of teams that could just not end up, or could hand up another blank. Now, do I want a free hit in 28? It could be that I do end up free hitting in 28, or it could free hit in 29 where there's now double game week. But if I take out those players that currently are blanking, I won't know until this time next week who will definitely be blanking or playing in game week 28 because of the FA Cup fixtures. At the moment, all I know for sure is that I've got 6 players that are definitely gonna play, and because of the so few games in the FA Cup are being played between Premier League sides, it's most likely that most are going to get through. At best, I know that Andreas may get knocked out by Leeds, in which case that would end up being Andreas would be playing, and some of it wouldn't. In fact, he'd be playing Liverpool, so that would be probably most of FPL managers' favourite results, which we'll see later on. But if we put on top of the fact that Cucurella isn't nailed it in that Chelsea side, this looks like a potential problem and possibly a free hit scenario. So, in terms of trip strategy, I may be looking at free hitting in 28. Be forced to do it if the FA Cup fixtures don't go, the results go the right way, and then possibly dead ending my side until game week 32, and then wildcarding for the rest of the season. That's a preliminary strategy at the moment. I'm definitely not nailed to that. I think so many other double game weeks, possible announcements coming up in blank game weeks to fit in, a lot could change. But looking at the fixtures over the next few weeks, I know that in game week 25 I've got Arsenal will be playing a double game week, so that's important to know. I've also got Brentford with double game weeks coming up, Brighton with double game weeks up, and in 29, so they're crucial. But we don't know in game week 28 whether Brentford or Brighton's games will be on. They could be off if all things go according to plan for them. Palace have a double game week in 27, but doesn't look very appealing. And the one player possibly would target someone like a Zaha isn't in there. Liverpool do look really good. 29 they'll have a double. 25 they've got a double as well. Apart from the Man U fixture, the fixtures look really good for Liverpool. So potential for them, and Wolves with that double game week in 25 as well. So, but we could end up, if Fulham winning against Leeds, Liverpool would not have their fixture in 28, and vice versa. If Leeds win that, then Wolves games gets moved as well. So there's quite a few things to consider. The only other team possibly is you've got Leeds, who have Southampton in game week 25, so they play. Potentially they'll have a game in 28 as well against Wolves, only if Wolves get knocked out, obviously. So the Wolves are out, so we do know that will go ahead. So Leeds look quite an interesting proposition. For this game week, I've just got to consider Liverpool players, I think. And Mo Salah just has to be at the top of that chart. He is the most expensive player. I would simply have to move from De Bruyne to get to him. De Bruyne doesn't have a bad fixture away at Bournemouth. There is a flag. He is illness, so there's no injury term in terms of that. But can I trust that he's going to be playing? And do I think he'd outscore Salah on a double game week? I just don't think he would. Salah has some nice fixtures coming up. Doesn't feel like Man City really with single game weeks. I'm not sure whether I still need to triple up on them. The only way I can get to Salah is by simply moving from De Bruyne. There's no other option. I can't release enough money to do that. So Salah's got to be, I think, top of my priorities to get in 0.75. He'd be captain as well with 2 fixtures. The fact that he scored the last couple of weeks helps, but I know he hasn't had a brilliant season in terms of his own output compared to others. I just don't think I want to go into any double game week without Salah. We just know what he can do. So Salah comes in, and possibly De Bruyne comes out. That would be one move. Liverpool players are absolutely the players that I'll be looking at. Other options could be Darwin. Now, Darwin Nunez, he looks good. I am a little bit concerned about minutes in terms of Jota and Firmino coming back in. So that does look like it will affect him. He's not going to get any more minutes because of that. Possibly, though, I still think he'll start both games. Underlying stats just look brilliant. It will be very difficult for me to get to him. I don't want to take Nketiah out because he's got a double game week. I've also got Haaland that I just don't think I ever want to take him out, ever. And then the other choice is Kane, who hasn't got a good fixture against Chelsea, but it's still Kane. So I'm still a little bit unsure about how to get Darwin in. It could be Nketiah, do a downgrade to Kane. I don't need the money that desperate, but I do like the idea of Darwin. He's definitely one that I would quite like to get in. It's just how do I get him in? I'm a bit unsure. The other one is I could keep De Bruyne and I could bring in Bacek. Probably spelled that wrong. 4.4. He doesn't have, it seems, as passing the eye test, he doesn't seem to get forward as much as you would like him to, but his XGI is still pretty good. That is quite heavy in terms of his assists rather than goals, but he has got 1 goal. So for 4.4, I could simply move from someone like a Somerville to a Bacek. Problem is, I know Somerville's playing in 28, so I'm not sure whether I want to move to get that. And I'm just not sure he's the one that I want to go with, especially when we're looking a minute, there's other options. But 4.4, I don't mind benching him in the future. Just looks like a really good option. But when Thiago gets back, is he then going to keep his place? Harvey Elliott bouncing around. Again, I'm just not sure about the minutes, though he looks fairly nailed at the moment. The other one that managers are piling into is Gakpo. His underlying stats look okay. He has obviously scored in the last couple of games, so that's taken a little bit of heat off him. Again, minutes worry me a little bit, and I don't think I can really bring in Gakpo and Salah. So would it be a choice between the two? I'm just always going to go to Salah. But Gakpo, definitely a consideration there. Other players that I could possibly bring in, I could downgrade again a KDB and bring in a Grealish. I could look to move on Rashford. Got money invested in him, and his fixtures look quite tough. Again, with Liverpool coming up, blanking in Liverpool, so I could move him out and bring Grealish in. And his stats look good, but at the back of my mind as well, how guaranteed or how nailed on is Grealish? That's the only thing. I think he's played, 7 games, including that Champions League game against Leipzig on the trot. I just don't know if I can trust Pep. I'm making a transfer when I need to get players out, and I'm bringing in a player that could possibly be benched. So for that reason, I'm a little bit unsure about Grealish. The other issue I've got as well evolves around Cucurella. I could just move to James, rested in midweek. He comes back in, decent fixtures. He has a fixture as well in game week 28, so that's promising. And at 5.8, I just would love to bring him in. So those are the players that are constantly on my mind right now as to which ones are bringing on. Those are the players that I'm purely focusing on. That's it for this one then, guys. Let me know in the comments below who you are bringing in for game week 25. Which teams and which players are you going to be targeting? Is there anyone you think I've completely overlooked or missed that I should be looking at? We'll come back at you later on in the week with another revised free hit. We've updated that for you, followed by the team selection. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. Hit that like button, and I shall see you soon.